Hello, welcome to She Knows Me with Rosie, where we cover all things weight loss, health, and wellness, specializing in plant-based weight loss for women. And today we're going to be covering food prep versus meal prep. So let's start with meal prep. Now, I felt inspired to make this video because just before I got married, I did like insane meal prepping, and it was such a tedious thing doing all of that. And I did it to a T for quite a while before the wedding, and now I'm currently doing food prepping, which is fantastic and way more lenient and way more doable for life than what meal prepping is. So let's get into the pros and cons, food prep versus meal prep, and why to food prep and not meal prep. So with meal prep, it's very much a portion thing. So you're either weighing your food with a scale, or you're portioning out certain sizes into a Tupperware or takeaway to get to the portion size that's recommended to you, and that's your prepped meal, and that's what you have ready and waiting, that when you are hungry you take your prepped meal and you go on with your life. It is very portion controlled, and there's a lot of time and energy that goes into weighing and measuring the food that goes into a prepped meal. Problem with that is also you don't eat more food if you are hungry after your prepped meal that was portion sized, which is a good thing. If you're in weight loss, you do need like a little bit of structure, but it's very controlling and it's very restrictive at the end of the day, because if you are more hungry, you kind of tell yourself, no, it's not part of my prep meal, I'm not going to have more food. It's a recipe for disaster. This is probably the worst thing for me. You eat your prepped food, your meal prepped food, even if you're in the mood for it or not. So it's kind of there waiting for you, and you're like, oh my gosh, if I have this meal again, have it, and you eat it, and you're so like, oh man, food becomes bland. It loses its spark at the end of the day. You land up worrying more about portions, calories. You worry more about that kind of stuff, like emphasis on calories, than what you do about nutritious food. So you start portioning out things, you become quite fanatic about it, but it's under your calories, so it's totally okay, but you actually lose out on your nutritious food, so you kind of put that on the back burner a bit. And then meal prep is tedious. It's just time consuming, and you take half a day to basically pack out all the little containers, you cook your food, measure all of them. It's super tedious. You like to think that because you've got a prep meal and you're sitting down and you're having it, you've got full control out of everything that's going in and out of your body, and you totally calculated every little gram, and this will equate into weight loss. It's great for peace of mind, but it's really bad in the sense that you don't honor your hunger and fullness signals. You don't learn how to navigate a meal if you just sit down and start eating. It's a bit of an unnatural thing to do, actually. I understand with bodybuilders, there's like goals here, we've got to get X amount a day and all of that. That's brilliant for that, because you can micromanage that. But just for everyday person, meal prepping, I do not recommend meal prepping. Okay, let's look at food prep. So this is definitely what I do and what I recommend, and I can honestly tell you it's been a total game changer. So you prep, you clean, you cut, and you cook the foods that you would be eating and prep them into your fridge. So they're ready for you to have as much or as little of the different foods as you want, but it's there, it's ready to go. You're able to eat an adequate amount of food, so the volume of food that you would like at that moment, so you're easily satisfied and not forcing yourself to only have X amount because you've sort of portion restricted because of the meal prep thing. You don't have to do that. Eat in abundance. Foods are there for the correct foods that you are stocking in the fridge. I mean, if you are prepping, cleaning, cutting and cooking, you kind of don't think that you've got a whole Tupperware full of Smarties. So not the same. You start learning to eat when you are hungry, and eat the amount that you want when you are hungry. And it stops the all or nothing, like, I should have this meal now because I've got another prep thing happening in 2.5 hours, and then I'm going to go do this, robot. That's not the case. Foods are ready for you. You have access to them. It's perfect. Maybe have a smaller meal now and have a bigger meal later on. Maybe have a bigger meal now because you're quite hungry, we're doing stuff. Having a smaller meal later. It's brilliant at learning your hunger and fullness signals, and that is fantastic for long-term use here. We just had a bit of a chat about holiday vibes. Food prepping is the way to go. No matter where you are, no matter what you're doing, you've got your food prepped and you have access to it. Great thing about food prepping is you can have multiple foods being prepped. Things boiling something in the oven, chopping here, putting them in, pour it in the fridge, done. It's not the tedious standing with a spoon, measuring, scale out. That is extremely time consuming. You don't have to worry about labels and calories and all of that goes with prepping meals that are specific portions. You are prepping nutritious food, so it's high in fiber, high in water, all of the good stuff is in there. You learn with food prepping how much of what you usually have to feel satisfied, and you can gauge how hungry you are. But that's fantastic. It's a tool that you need forever. That, like I said, no matter where you are, no matter what you're doing, you can eyeball things, put a plate together, and that's the amount that'll fill you up. With meal prepping, it's mindlessly just like go every day the same thing, and just for long term I wouldn't recommend meal prepping for long term. What I can honestly say about food prepping that has helped me in my life, where I am in my life at the moment, is I've got food that's prepped, and you have days where you don't have time to make a meal. Like, we don't hold hands and sing Kumbaya and sit down and have a meal every night. Like, it's almost impossible. So having those prepped food items, I can take something out for myself, take something out for my son, for my husband, put down what everyone eats and how everybody enjoys it, and the food is already cooked. I don't have to stand cooking it. And also, we're not having a prepped meal that's been sitting in the fridge, certain size, certain container, everything just like turned around and chucked onto a plate, and that is what it is. That's the meal for the day, for the night, for the evening. That's not the case. With a food prep, I can just say it simplifies everything. It's so much better with regards to managing what you're eating, and also I like the sense of knowing that I have a bit of structure. So that's what I probably loved about the meal prep thing, but it was so tedious and so restricting and so controlling that I started hating it. With food prep, you still have, okay, cool, Sunday, it's Monday, whatever the case may be, for me, bloody Thursday, but yes, it's Monday, let's prep the foods for the week, we got it in there. Maybe you do a second prep on like a Thursday, Friday, because who wants to eat what was food prep on Monday and Sunday? Let's do that. I honestly am team food prep versus meal prep, and now you can see the difference between the two. I hope it gives you a little bit of clarity between the difference of food prep and meal prep. And if you would like to try it, go for it. Start with something small, like prep a few potatoes, prep a few things that are just accessible. Wash your fruit, cut them up. You want things prepped and ready, but you don't want to have to stand and weigh and portion and measure. You don't want that. Alright, thank you so much for watching my video. Please like and subscribe to support my channel. Every day we are trying to just build this community of, like I say, it's health, wellness and weight loss, and specializing plant-based weight loss for women. So please comment below if you have any uncertainties or questions, and I will see you in the next video.